What's up, YouTube guys? I'm here to talk to you about a special period that's coming up on us, guys, in about the next couple weeks, maybe a week for some of you guys in the southern region. But I'm here to talk to you guys about the pre-spawn and the oncoming spawn season. So get ready. And these are going to be the baits that I'm going to discuss that you can catch a lot of fish off of. Check them out. Okay, guys, let's first start with late winter, early spring. You guys know a lot of the bass are on the deep humps out there, deep points or whatever, or the drop offs of a bank. So we're starting to catch them deeper. You guys that have live scope, you can pretty much tell the movements and patterns of the fish and their activity and what they're feeding on, which is primarily shad and for the up shallow crawfish. So guys, let's get into it, man. Let's just first let's break down the first stage of pre-spawn. And I say the first stage means like the late winter period. We're going to want to go with something more natural. We're going to go here like this right here, guys. This is a jerkbait. This is a 110 made by Yards Custom Baits, crankbaits and jigs. And this is a silver side. A lot of you guys that probably heard of the Atlantic silver side, y'all don't hear it too much in freshwater, but this is a brackish water bait fish, guys. And I've caught some out of Skytook right here in our waters here in Oklahoma. So this is a great bait for the pre-spawn. It's a slower bait. It's a reaction bait. I mean, once it starts heating up, guys, you can start busting them also with this, which is the same pattern, but I'm going to tell you why I brought these two in at the same time. One, this is not a deep one. This is when they start to pull up. This is when you get that 3 or 4 days of 55 to 60 degree weather, sun's out, and they start pulling up into the staging process. So this right here, this little buddy right here, they start staging, guys. There's gonna be grass. The grass is gonna start coming. As you guys know, the sunlight penetrates through clear water, or visible water, we'll say that, and it starts to grow again. So this right here, ripping this out of that grass is not a bad idea, guys. And another thing I like to do with this, I'll take that back hook off right here, guys, and I'll start ripping it. I've seen that with Fluke Master. I learned that from him about a year ago. And it's been tried and true, and it's been working, guys. So this is what I'm going to use when they start staging. But right before the stage, and that when they start pulling up in that 10 to 8 foot or 6 foot of water, I'm going to start throwing this jerkbait. And why I'm going to throw this jerkbait? Because when they won't just chase and they're still lethargic, because you got to remember, in the winter months, guys, they're getting deep. They're getting deep, and they're feeding less. They're moving less, because they have less energy. If you guys have been out in the cold, I don't think you guys are ready to run a marathon out there in like 20 degree weather. So just saying, these fish, I don't think they're going to chase down a whopper plopper. Some people caught them, in certain regions, they've caught them on top like that. But in most places like here in Oklahoma, we don't really just bust them on top water in like 30 degree water or 40 degree water or even early 50 degree water like that, unless you have a lot of sunlight. But with that said, guys, we're going to get to another bait. This is also another 110, but this is like a 110 plus one, guys. It's a little deeper. If you guys know, this is also made by Yards Customs, guys. It's another one that gets down there, and you can actually pause this bait. See, this is when when you had that cold front come in, and it's clear water conditions, but you've had, say, 3 days of 60 degree weather, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's 13 degrees, like it is now outside. When it starts to heat up to that 29, 30 degrees, and then boom, back into the 50, 60, this bait right here would be a good idea to throw out, because it's going to stay 10 to 12 foot. Because when they stage, they might come 5 to 6 foot, but they're going to push back out with that cold front, guys, because they're going to try to avoid that cold weather. Weather affects these bass a lot. And if you guys hadn't been out there lately, you see that it's been really hard to catch them when that cold front pushes in. But this right here is a guarantee. I just got this in, so pretty sure it's going to cure my illness of not catching. But yeah, guys, this is one you want to throw in. The reason why I got basically the morning dawn looking jerkbait is because the water's starting to get a little murkier now, and just this little brighter color. This little brighter color right here, just that little sucker ripping back and forth to get their attention. But another thing I want to bring to you guys, which is, like they said, like you got your Rayburn Reds or your Red Craws. This right here, this is prime season. This is that spring. Now we're getting into that early spawn. Not the pre-spawn, but that early spawn colors, guys. Why? Because that crawfish is going to be the main forage. Bluegills is going to be another thing that they're really on. We'll hold that right here so you guys get a good look. They're going to start eating these colors, these patterns a lot more, because that's one thing. A bluegill is the natural enemy to a largemouth bass. Why? Because it gets in the nest and tries to feed up on the eggs. And with that said, the predatory, patterns, we're going to go with our man, bear, pig from Reaction Innovations. All right, guys. This thing right here is when they're on that bed. See the appendages? You're going to take these appendages apart, what I'm doing, so they have more action to it. And you're going to Texas this weightless. Now, I know that sounds crazy because these things, you're probably thinking, well, on a bait caster, I'm going to throw this weightless or spinning rod, and I'm going to rig this bad boy just like that, guys. Look at this. But what I'm going to do is, instead of barely hooking it like I usually would in a weedless situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that back end. Take this back end right here. You can usually take your finger and do it. Bring it down. And I'm going to press that hook right there. No more than that. And I'm going to press it back up here. See how that hook's still there? And you're straightening out that lure. Well, weightless, this bad boy right here is going to sink slower. And with them appendages moving, it's going to imitate a salamander or a lizard. Well, the only reason why you want to use this is if you don't have a salamander or a lizard. But I prefer, guys, it's just me talking. I've done this for a long time, guys, and it's tried and true. The Zoom lizard. I don't know how many bass I've caught over 5 pounds throwing a Zoom lizard. Now, this is coming from a guy that's fished since I was 6, 7 years old, all the way up until now. And I had to learn these things. And one thing I did not see a lot of people doing, but I did read in the magazines, this pattern, the floating style lizard, what I call it. You take that right in the head. Now, I don't know how a lot of you guys rig yours. Some might go over the top. I don't do that. Me, I'm going to take that thing, rig it up to the bottom. All right. Now, you see how that's in there? And I'm going to take that bad boy. This is a softer bait, so I don't have to poke that through. It's going to be absolutely weedless. And I'm telling you guys, it's deadly, because not only does that hook, the weight of that hook drop that at an angle, that lizard at an angle, then the appendages going, when it hits, it lands soft up on that belly. And that hook, as you can see, guys, see how it sits? That hook, let me see if we can get a good grip of it. If I can get it weighted just right, there we go. You're going to see how it land. It will land like this, but it'll probably rock a little bit. But when you're moving it, them appendages are going to crawl over that bottom. You don't even have to yo-yo this thing. You can take this lizard and literally crawl it like you would a biffle bug and just crank it real slow. And you'll either feel the bump, or when you stop it, you'll see the line take off. I'm telling you guys, if you hadn't thrown this in the springtime and you're talking about, I can't get them to hit off the bed, I can't get them to do this, I can't get them to do that, they're not hitting white rubs or hitting white crawls or hitting beaver style baits or baby brush hogs. I'm telling you, the Zoom lizard will get them. Now, I'm not sponsored by the Zoom lizard, but I'll say mainly any lizard company probably can do this. If it looks anything like a real salamander or lizard, you should get bit. But I'm telling you, it's the most deadly for me in the spawn. Why is that? Like I said, that slow fall gets their attention because the bass is circling that nest. Mainly the males be circling that nest. But even a big female somewhere near will come and rush that lizard. Now, the thing about a lizard is it's a little more aggressive than your bluegills. That lizard gets in there and crawl and he can eat them eggs up, especially the salamanders, guys. So what you want to do is you want to really imitate the predators of the bass babies, because as a parent, you guys already know if somebody touch your kids, you're gonna go crazy. Think about that bass on that nest. When she lays all them eggs on there, before she takes off the feed and the father guards that nest, that big female and that male are guarding. So this right here can be your new PB bait. So guys, with that said, all these baits have a purpose. I hope you guys are catching. I know a lot of guys have been talking about the lipless. I've heard a lot of guys talking about the Texas rig stuff. Yes, the Texas rig stuff is a staple. It is an older pattern that I still use, pegged or unpegged, and it will catch. But one thing I want you guys to try, that floating style. If you are not comfortable throwing that on a bait caster, it is deadly on a spinning rod. And let me tell you, even more deadly, because you can use lighter line and give more play into that bait. So guys, with that said, man, I just want to put you guys up on something that I've been doing for a long time in the spring that helps me get bit and land them bigger bass, where you can have that picture-worthy fish and that PB of a lifetime, possibly get a replica or whatever choice you have with it, getting you a wall hanger, guys. But that's all I have for you. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope these things get you bit. Stay tuned. It's TBP out.